Good evening and happy new year for 2024. And I want to say to everyone, I hope you had a great 2023, especially when it comes down to the subject matter we talk about here is the aliens, UFO disclosure, government secrets, the cover up, conspiracies. And maybe 2023 you had a good open mind because as you know my saying is your eyes are useless and when your mind is blind it's time to think why and not focus on how things are happening but why they are happening. And the question is, why are we now hearing about UFOs, aliens? The government is out here doing congressional hearings. Why? Because they want you to know that something big is along the way. I can't say exactly when and where, but I know it has to do with extraterrestrials, UFOs, and those things that most people think that do not exist. But why would you think that when you've seen one? And I know you might be saying, well, Roderick, I haven't seen a UFO. Yes, you have. You've seen aliens, you've seen UFOs, you've seen underground bases. And you know where you've seen those at? Movies. Yes, you've been watching movies for years, basically for some of us, all your lives. And you may have been inundated with those movies back in the day that showed E.T., Phone Home, all of those particular movies. And do you think they made those things up? Absolutely not. Because tonight we're going to talk about why the government and some of these institutions, Hollywood and everyone, are connected together to make sure that this secret cover up maintain the biggest of them all the way that they want it. But in the meantime, a soft way so that when things do come out, all they can say is, nah, you saw that in the movie. You're crazy. So get ready. Once again, I hope once that you had a happy new year and Merry Christmas and all those things. But this is 2024. 23 is behind us. The aliens are here. They've lived here. The UFOs are real. And I'm Roderick Martin, UFO investigator, TV personality, and I'm in the trenches. And we're going to get together with what we're about to see right after this. All right, truth seekers. So we ended 2023 with 5 or 6 good videos last week that I did storytelling, informing people about the history when it comes down to extraterrestrials, those aliens, and so much more. And if you didn't watch some of those, you need to go back and see because we talked about the impact on religion. We talked about the cover up, the treaty that was made with our government. Yes, a treaty with extraterrestrials was made. Well, maybe was it made for to protect you, me, or maybe it was to make the other people rich. There's a lot of stuff behind this thing. So go back and take a look at it. Tonight we're going to talk about the movies. I probably refer to that a lot in a lot of my shows because I'm just infatuated with movies anyway, and why not tell you that a lot of those movies that shows ET, aliens, underground bases, technology, these all was part of a plot, and I'll get to this in a document that I'm reading tonight that it's going to tell you a little bit about it, and then we're going to reference some of those movies, and we're going to go back in time. I'm going to take you back, especially some of you young folks, back before you were probably born. There were movies made about aliens. They was talking about them a long time ago, but I'm going to take you back to a few of them. So you're going to sit back, get your popcorn ready, but also know it is time to take this serious, okay? If you're dealing with anybody right now who is out there telling you, man, those aliens and UFOs not real. Oh man, I just need some proof. Yeah, right. You breathe in air right now, but you can't see it, right? Okay, the proof that you have is that you're alive. It works. That's it. But nobody has seen air, okay? But where I'm going with this is that there is enough evidence out there that tells us we are not alone in this universe. There's a lot of things that are going on in the darkness. We're not alone in this universe. There's a lot of people that are coming back with experiences that will tell you we're not alone in this universe. There's government documents of people being abducted that tell us we are not alone in this universe. Military people coming up forward every day talking about down and crashed spacecraft. We are not alone. There's whistleblowers now saying that there's spacecraft that found abandoned, meaning they're walking among us. We are not alone. And if you're going to sit here today and still think that this is some type of joke or it's just some type of religious factor, go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, read that, okay, and explain that to yourselves. And of course, I already know what most people are going to say, but it says, let's make man in our image and the likeness of ourselves. So some people made a big plan to make you and me to look like them. And we're going to find out who they are, and we're waiting for them to reveal themselves when it comes down to this. I'm not saying that there's not a God. I did not say that at all. I'm not saying that I don't believe in God. No, I do believe in God. I'm saying there are some other people who probably believe in God too, that probably can have creations just as much as you creating your business plan, you creating some type of electronic, you're creating a chair. Some people, and for those of you who are breeders of animals and all this, you can create a specific color and breed, dealing with genetics. Why can't they do it? And how come it hadn't happened with us? I don't know, but we're going to search for this together because we're truth seekers. So what I'm going to do is get into a document that was the Chesapeake Connection. And this is a book or a dossier that was written, and the subtitle is The Implications of Corporate Involvement in the UFO Cover-Up. Now, this was by former mission specialist Bob Ochesla, and he written this, but I'm just going to take a few pages, read it, and then we're going to go into how this plan that he's talking about is actually being implicated or implemented every single day, is happening every day, has been happening, and a lot of us, including you that's watching this, have probably been affected by the plan. And you didn't hear me say, oh, it was just some scheme. No, this is a grand plan. I don't know if anything is bigger than the scheme itself, but this is huge because it deals with not just a group of people. It doesn't deal with maybe a faction of people over here. It deals with the global humanity of people, and that is all of us. So in this particular book, I start with one of his small chapters, and I'll kind of read it verbatim a little bit, just walk along with me, and it's called The Closing Loop. And where this guy, Bob Ochesla, talks about, he goes, even within the immediate proof of the follow-up study to the Brookings Institution report to NASA and Congress, the evidence in society today is clear. The implications were taken seriously and the groundwork and painstakingly laid out over the 3 decades since the quite obvious today. Now, where the Brookings report, you can look this up, they were a group that was sanctioned by NASA and the government and the surrounding powers that be. When they said and knew that there was some type of extraterrestrial involvement, they decided that they wanted to find out how would humans, us, take the news. And this was the foundation to where we are today. So the Brookings report was sanctioned to do it. And within all these couple of 100 pages, there's several paragraphs, and you can get it. Go Google it yourself. Go to page 238, somewhere in there, if I'm not mistaken, to keep you from going through hundreds of pages. But it is worth the read. It came back said, do not tell the public. They can't handle the truth. That's what they said. And from there, from all those scientists, all of those doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, all of these theologians, all these people were part of this report, and they felt that this was too much for most people, or the masses of people could literally handle what's happening today. And I think that they still know this to be true today. But however, there is what I call a X factor that they did not figure out. And the rumor has it that it is that the ETs, the extraterrestrials, whoever those are, many factions, it's not just one, are saying it is time for the humans to find out. Now, there is a faction of them saying, no, we don't want these humans to find out. And why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they want us to know? Well, I shared that all week in all of the other videos of how they are behind our government, they're behind religion, they're behind the financial institutions, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so those group have a concise plan of ruling and continuing their secret forever. But there's a faction that's sitting out there that's saying, no, they're a little more benevolent, and they don't want human and society to be the way we are, and they want us to grow an ascension to love and stop all this violence, get rid of all the nuclear weapons and all of these things. But then there's a faction of our government, and of course the power and the money and people are saying, hell no, we're not doing that. We're not. Now, I've always told you where I stand. I'm into the point of, insurance. We all have it on our cars. In fact, some people, it's the law. And the reason you have insurance, just in case some sugar honey iced tea happens, right? You got to have some insurance. I want our military to be ready. I want them to have the swimming ducks, the Navy SEALs, the Bucher nuclears, and whatever we want to call them, and the B-2 bombers and all. I want all of that to be on standby in case there is a rowdy pack of extraterrestrials that come and decide that they want to open up a can of whoop ass on us. I want to be ready. I think we should be ready. And it's no different than we can go back to society. We did it as humans. There was humans that came from one continent to another continent, raided, pillaged, and decimated countries and people. And if had they was able to defend themselves, we might have a whole different viewpoint on history today. However, now we're talking about galactic stuff. We're talking things from way out there that's past where we are today, and it's going to take us as humanity to come together. So let me swing back to where I was. I just kind of got off that little soapbox there, but I just want you to know, because all the time we get people saying, no, they're not here. And I know some of y'all got family members right now that you can probably go talk to them about extraterrestrials and aliens, and they'll probably tell you, no, you're crazy for believing in that stuff, right? And they ought to know they're getting dreams at night. Yes, they are getting dreams at night. Some of these people are being contacted at night. They just don't understand it and don't comprehend it and don't want to share it with anybody because they don't want people to think they're crazy like they think you're crazy. And so a lot of these people having sleep paralysis. They're feeling pressure on them at night. They can't move. They're frozen. Some of these people have dreams of having maybe hybrid children taken to alien places and memories wiped out and come back. Some people having these scars on their bodies that they can't account for, don't even know where they come from, and they just woke up with them. Really? You don't think something happened to you? All right, okay, yeah, maybe you got visited by some demons. Maybe you got visited by the ghost. Maybe your great-great-grandmother was scratching on you saying, wake up, I want to give you the recipe to biscuits or something. I don't know. I'm not making fun of your grandmother. But what I'm saying is we have all of these deities and things that we want to think and see when it comes down to this, that most people can't grasp the fact that when they look up in the skies at night and they see these stars and galaxies going beyond, that there's nobody else out there somewhere. Are you out of sync? That's the word I want to use. That's all I want to use. But all I'm saying is it is real. It is real. So let's get back on the path here. Let's get down. And tonight, we're streaming in a lot of places, 2024. We're streaming right now currently to YouTube. We're streaming on Facebook, my High Strangers group on Facebook. We're streaming on Twitter right about now. We're streaming on Instagram right about now. We're also streaming on Twitch right now. And we're also streaming live to Rumble right now. So we're all over the place. And I just want to welcome everyone from wherever you're watching is where we are. But in the meantime, subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can understand where we are. And so that's what I want you to do. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. Make sure you like those videos, show the notifications, set your notifications so you can understand where we are when we get down to this thing. And so let me finish real quick. Like I said in the beginning, if you're just joining us, this is the Chesapeake connection, an implication of the corporate involvement in the UFO by the cover-up, and it's by, mission specialist with NASA. He's former NASA, Bob Ochesla. And I've already begun it with talking about how they were already working with the Brookings report. Now, today, the struggle maintains the secrecy among elites fall into a category of timing and indoctrination to release the program, not in the issue of whether not to inform the public, but the deciding factor, okay, lies in the syndrome known as alien abductions of human beings. Now, it has become an issue of health, mental hygiene, and other issues of ethic and economics are also less important to the timetable of this release. I've said it many, many occasions. This is the biggest secret in the world. Yes, we've had the Epstein things. Yes, we've had what's going on with Puff Daddy and all these other people. We got all that out there, but ain't nothing comes bigger than the secret of extraterrestrial beings, whether they live here in the oceans, underneath the grounds, whether they're flying around in skies and people are seeing them, whether they're visiting us, and whether they're abducting humans, testing on them, hybrid situations. There's nothing more serious than that. And it's not just that. It's the economic implications that goes all across the world when it comes down to this. And that is a global, I'm saying, we're talking Stone Age type stuff. And so we all know how serious that can be. And so do the big secret keepers. Hint, hint, is that for whoever you want to put in that particular metaphor, could be church groups, friends, family members, government, whatever. You'll hear me call the big secret keepers. Now, the results of the studies give us clues that where they was look for the evidence was the rest rely on the extraterrestrials to play their part in the disclosure plan. The structures, the institutions, the corporations, and the men and reigns all have played such a critical part in a 40-year. Now, this was written 20 years ago, so we already know this is 70 years of what they're doing with the society of mankind at stake. The roles has been effectively played, and history will someday be able to detail and analyze their very move. But for now, what we're here for tonight, we're going to focus on the present day homage to success of the most delicate operation ever to confront the human race. Let me say that again. Maybe you didn't hear me. We're going to talk about one of the most delicate operation out there, okay? And it has nothing to do with all of some of these other hidden agendas and programs. Yeah, well, it has its own agenda. We're talking about mental psyops, subliminal messaging, subliminal things. And we've all talked about it in songs, reverse them. We're all talking about in commercials. We'll go over some of those tonight. But tonight we're just focusing on the ones and things that has to deal with aliens and UFOs, where I don't see why the majority of people don't somehow just wake up one morning and go, aliens, maybe they are real. Or maybe we shouldn't believe them because that was the plan. The plan was to do subliminal messaging when we go to the movie theaters, when we see commercials and all of these things, to give us more of a comic view part of it, to where we take away the seriousness of it, that it could be possible of things to talk about. So let me get some water and we will continue right now. And once again, make sure you share, hit that like button, smash the button. And again, if you haven't had an opportunity, subscribe to the YouTube channel where we have membership. We have a lot of other stuff there that videos you can probably go back and see the archives of what we're doing for all of you who are new tonight in the audience. I am excited about where we're going because when I realized what we're going to be talking about tonight a few days ago, and although I've always put out information about it, I was more excited when I said, let me dig up some facts, or what the young folks would say, some receipts. And the receipts in this case is the actual movies themselves, and maybe give you a little intent behind the movie when it was over. I have about 10, 11 that we'll just kind of skate through. So it'll be very interesting once you hear some of these things. But when I realized that this has been going on for quite some time, and then, of course, you know me, I know how they're doing it. So I don't never focus on how. I tell you all the time, don't focus on how anybody is doing what they do. You can be chasing a rabbit down many rabbit holes. I'm talking friends, relationship. If you keep trying to see, well, how are they doing it? No, You better focus on why. And when you start uncovering that why, then, ladies and gentlemen, you get the real answer to how it's just procedure, okay? So once it was determined what we were up against, he writes, and the studies conducted to determine how to handle problems with optimal chance of survival as society. The next step in the process was to indoctrinate the society, you, me, to prepare us for reality and confrontation to the fact that we are no longer the most evolved and advanced species known to man. So that plot already started right there, because there was a lot of people walking around that we have dominion, right? Over everything. Man was given dominion over the earth, the fish, the water, the birds, the seeds, or whatever. And tell that to a lion out in the South African jungle if you want to walk out there and walk on him one-on-one in his land and tell him you have been given dominion. Because that Tarzan shit that I saw when I was young, where he fought lions and all that, have you seen the size of those things? The teeth of those things, and how they take down water buffaloes and elephants, and you know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting here, I grew up on Tarzan, and he fighting gorillas, and a gorilla throw you 20 miles off the road. But we were trained, and I know there have been some dummies that watched the Tarzan movie and went over there and tried to fight a lion hand by hand. Yeah, right. Motor comeback if you wanted to. So the whole point is, the terms of intelligence and morality cannot be credence in this equation as the product of our own cultural evolution and not the extraterrestrial one. So indoctrination began with a series of movies. This is their plan. He's talking about it. And movies are a great way to stimulate creative elements of the human brain, psyops, and to sow the seeds of subliminal suggestions. So the psyop is real, okay? This is how they do it. Now, a sort of this, what they was doing was what we call auto-conditioning programs. Now, before I go any fact, I know there may be some people saying, well, why you? Why are you talking about it? Well, let me tell you why. You can find me, I have 9, 10, 11 TV credits. Most people talking about this. There are very good researchers, and I'm a little part of that. I've been featured on the Fox Tubi network. I host a TV show on the Discovery Plus channel right now called Alien Endgame. I've been on Forbidden Knowledge TV in a documentary, as well as an 8-episode series on the network itself. I'm a brand ambassador for Gaia when it comes down to aliens and UFOs. Been featured on the George Norrie show, which is Beyond Belief. Also, Regina Merit, Open Minds. I've been on that show. Coast to Coast Radio with Art Bell. I've been featured there as well. Also on Amazon Prime, I'm in a movie called Believe 1, Believe 2, and I'm in a Bigfoot movie. I'm also as part as Ancient Aliens. I was featured there this past May, and have a whole lot of other TV credits and things that are coming up. And this is why I do what I do. Okay. And so therefore, for those of you that just think we're out here just talking, I'm a full-time UFO investigator for the MUFON network. Also, I do my own private work in researching and a host of other stuff as well. And so I'm just really excited to be here and talking about this as something that some people will do just for fun. I have a lot of fun doing what I do. So when we talk about those movies, they're a great way, what they call, once again, to stimulate our mind. So this is the psyops part of what I'm talking about. And they sow seeds when they call it subliminal suggestions that pops up in these movies. Or sort of auto-conditioning is what they call it. Movies are always watched in the darkness. Think about it. See, they got the plan. So listen to me closely. Turn on your freaking lights. It says movies are always watched in the darkness, and therefore creating the perfectly focused environment essential for optimum subliminal education. Bam! Write that down right there. You see, it ain't how they're doing it. It ain't how you go to the movie theaters and and you just in there quiet with popcorn. This is from a psychological standpoint of psyops. They already know. All right, let me continue. Now, The sublimation works best when one is most cognate of deception. Okay. Movies such as The Day the Earth Stood Still will be an excellent beginning to show the fertility of human ethics when confronted by the unknown. So they use these movies and they create them in such a way to test how will we react in a real world scenario, is what he's saying. And The Day the Earth Stood Still was way back in the 40s, baby, or 50s or 60s. We'll go over that later. But this is what they're saying, is that they put certain movies together with the outcome of seeing public reaction. We're seeing one right now, right? We see one right now that our former president them just put out. And I'm not saying he did it in a nefarious attempt, but obviously he had to know what's really happening, and he's out of office. He can't do anything about it, but he sure can shine some light on this stuff that comes out. There was movies I'm gonna tell you about that was back in the 40s and 50s that was already programming and warning us about AI technology back then. And they already knew it was coming. And how did they know that? Because I talked about it in a video. Y'all remember 2 days ago, last week, I think it was part 1, part 2, or part 3, where they found this alien book it's called the Yellow Book. It was technology that they saw all of our past and the future. It's almost like we were encoded, and they knew. They already knew. Go check out the video. You won't be disappointed when you get to it. And that's all I have to say. But anyway, so what they're saying is that this particular movie at the time, and then they also said it demonstrates the epitome of hypocrisy in society that preaches morality and then shoots the visitor without provocation. That was another test. In that movie, and we'll talk about it, we killed the alien, the humans. He came to give us a message of I think it was like some type of warning to save humanity. We killed him. The humans knocked him out the box, period, because there was a faction of people like, yeah, no, he's a witch, it's demons or whatever. And they whacked him off, and he came to save Earth. I've mentioned that many, many times. This is one of my running stories about Akbach. Y'all remember, right? Of course you do. The alien that came from planet Xeron that came here to save Earth and give us free energy. And I was on the board of Exxon, and he came in to Exxon, and this is my dream. And he came in and said, I'm gonna give y'all free energy, so you're not gonna ever make any more money, but the world's gonna have free energy. All the older people that was rich are clapping, yeah. Me and some new people said, no, Akbar can't get out alive. It's about the money. That's just the story, okay? So this is what they're talking about when it comes down to these things that we as humans, and that's probably been going on in real life, by the way, that if you go back and look at the collective history of encounters, our military is probably engaged in them more than they're probably engaged in us, at least what we know on a public manner. And I wouldn't assume that they would tell us anyway. There is no way in hell that our military, which is one of the fierce fighting machines on a freaking planet, and there is no military out there more fierce than the United States military. Don't even believe what you hear, what you read. There's not another country. Yeah, they may have bombs and we got bombs, but when it comes pound for pound, technology, advancement, security, fighting force, fighting people, machines, Navy SEALs, swimming ducks, the invisible crew, the guns, the missiles, the fighter jets, from all the way back down to the person in the military that is hooking up the boots. There is not a fierce military in the United States of America, bar none. I'm not saying somebody don't have some technology, but pound for pound, if they're gonna go to blow, it is not. This is why we live the life that we live today. I know it's crazy and we take it for granted, but there are some people on the other side of this world will wish that they were where we are and where you are today and had the protection of some of these people. So thank our military, thank them, period, okay? But where I'm going with this is also, by the way, the same military, hint, hint, will never tell you that there's some things out there that they can't open up a can of whoop ass on. There's some things out there that come from space. It has transmedium technology that comes in air and out fly our jets, the Navy SEALs. So Giving you a quick example, we have something that shows up in California, hops up out of the water, the Coast Guard and the Navy is trying to chase it and find out. It zips up in the sky so fast and wipes across, then the Air Force is trying to figure it out. It goes all the way to California, from California to Florida within 3 seconds, and our planes are still trying to catch up. And then the Army then hears about it, and then it gets down on the ground, abducts somebody, and go back where it want to go. Then it goes into the ocean, which the planes in the sky can't follow it because it can. Then it pops up at the ocean on the other side of the world, goes up into the air, which the things that we was following in an ocean can't follow it out of water because we don't have transmedium technology. And then our planes get behind it. Then it zips up into space, and the planes go, oops, shit, we can't go up there because we don't have nothing to do that. So with that being known, they're not going to tell you the biggest secret out there lies between so advanced technology from another planet or within. That's not going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not happening. And thankful, I agree with them on that. Don't tell the secret. I don't know, but I'm telling you anyway. So who cares? Boy, I've got on my soapbox. I need to wait a minute. Let y'all catch up for a minute. Yeah, how y'all doing tonight in the chat? Yeah, let me see what we got. Let me put up a chat box here on screen, see if we got one. There we go. Oh, it's moving there. I see y'all. Look at that. Y'all can see that. Y'all talking tonight. I'm using a new system, so I can't see if some of y'all super chatting. Definitely thank you. I guess if I have this on here, I could see what happens. But yeah, I can't see it from there. But I put it on this screen, so maybe you can see what other people are saying. All right, so here's the deal. We're back to that movie. The movie was released in 1951, 1 year before the flying saucer flights over the nation capital, and one before President Truman created the National Security Agency, which is the NSA, in the last weeks of his administration, in action to ensure the secrecy of the ultimate encounter for mankind. Make no mistake about it, every president slipped the stuff out. Reagan slipped it out when he said, whatever happened if with the world we were facing something from another nation. They all tried their best to kind of, because they're not in control. We learned that last week, right? You did. And they're temporary employees, and they're not there for the long haul like some of these other military people. So the NSA, National Security Agency, we have a friend that works with the NSA, and I won't call his name out. And he contacted me some weeks and weeks ago, and we've been good friends ever since. There's some people that work with the former ATIP, so we got our insiders, and I was talking to him last night about the NSA and how they was originally chartered to protect the communications of ETs and extraterrestrials. That was the plan. And they are the most powerful of these groups because they don't have to follow the laws that some of it, if there's a law that goes out there and we don't literally put NSA into that and congressional law, as long as they ain't spelled out there in there, they don't have to follow it. So hint, hint, to let you know. So history will show that Truman, who had the foresight, all right, to demand calculated analysis before the creation of havoc could ensue. His financial advisor was Edward Norsey, also known as Brookings Institution. And with 2 years later, during the Eisenhower administration, observed the firsthand ongoing problems of contact with extraterrestrials and take part in the efforts to resolve the phenomenon in the minds of humankind. And it began with one of my favorites, the subliminal effects of movies like Star Wars, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, later Strange Invaders, will serve as an acclimate to the public to the possibilities of extraterrestrial existence. And the constant reporting of UFO sightings will create a plausible recognition of the potential reality outside the entertainment medium. So the plan was, if they're not going to look up, and this is why you hear where I'm going with this, for us people that's in it, this is your vindication moment. You ready? Okay. So if most people is not going to believe it, and they're not going to look up, well, we're going to show your ass in some movies. You're going to be watching at home with the popcorn. You're going to be next to your lover, your love, or whoever, your boo, or whatever, booette, boo man, whatever. And you're going to be next to them and y'all going to be chatting with your feet up, talking about, oh, that's a crazy looking alien. But they got that idea sneaked to them from the government side. Hey, make this movie. And some of these movies is just about as real as it get, right? And because they got the facts. And it makes for a great freaking movie. It makes for a great movie. So think about this, though. This is something I don't talk about a lot. So I want y'all to really follow where I'm fit to go with this. Last week, we talked about crash retrievals and how the money, and I'm sorry, I need to figure out a way to get in on it, okay? For us, it's for us, though. So picture this being a UFO, and it falls and crashes. Boom. Our military got Project Pounce. Remember, we talked about that last week, and all these other ones. And they get out there and they grab it. Boom. We got this spacecraft. We got it. But the public is going to want to know. The public is going to want to know, and they're not, and keep us, because they're supposed to work for us, we the people. They then going to take the spacecraft and they're going to hand it over to McDonnell Douglas, which is not none of my family. I'm Martin, but I wish my family had thought about this years ago and got in the game. You know, if I can go back in time, I'm going to tell whoever, get in the game. If I ever figure out time travel, I'm going all the way back, get into the defense game or Hollywood, which is where I'm heading now. I'm starting my high strange production company this year. So, but anyway, so they give them this spacecraft and they put it in a private entity's hand, and then our military say, hey, you see that? Yeah, we want something to fly like that. Can y'all do it? And then those people go, well, we can develop it and we'll put our best scientists on it, but we need $1 billion. And the military guy looked at him, $1 billion damn dollars. And he goes, yes, we need $1 billion. And then our military liaison said, $1 billion? He goes, yeah. And then he goes, we need $1 billion. And he goes, hell, what you doing? You building a matchbox? I can get you $5 billion. Boom, bam, they in business. They give it to them, and then we, the people, pay out our tax money billions of dollars so that company, McDonnell Douglas, I'm just using for example, and there's many of them, Raytheon, and the list goes on, that they get paid to reverse engineer this craft and then take it back to the government and sell it. They get paid to build it. And then they get paid for the aircraft that they build. And you think a lot of people ain't got their hands in that cookie jar? Or should I say ice cream gallon? Or should I say the water well? Hell, however, the casino? Whatever you want to call it. A lot of people. So what did that got to do with movies? I'm glad you asked. So they take this report and they go to Steven Spielberg and say, hey, man, I got something for you. I'm going to give you something that you're going to be able to create, and you're going to win awards. You're going to make billions of dollars. But it's part of our psyops. This is part of our subliminal messages so that we can control the mindset of the people when it comes down, when they do see something in the sky. They either like, you know, and here is the information. Turn it into a script. You're going to make millions. You're going to make billions. But this is what we want to do. Y'all get what I'm saying? All of these people are in on it. Doctors, medical, whatever. The biggest secret of all time is controlled by money. Money. And I want in on it somewhere, some kind of way. Not to go against the truth seekers. But you can't call me if you need $100 and if I got 30 million or 100 billion because I'm making a movie or something. I don't know. I'm saying is our families are not connected to the stuff, the Rockefellers, and we talk about all of that. So when they do this plan and they put all this together, then, like he said, the constant reporting of UFO sightings will create a plausible recognition of potential reality outside the entertainment. And all right, so let me go back to here. Okay. And saying, if y'all got any bad video